Honestly, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know how to put my feelings into words right now. But I'm still going to try because I really need to get all of this off my chest. So, for context, I was supposed to get married at the end of this week, but I chose not to because of something that happened a couple of days back. My fiance, let's call him Jack, and I have been together for the past 2 years. Before that, we were friends for almost 3 years, since we went to college together. He asked me out a couple of months after we graduated, and I said yes, and since then, things have been going pretty well for us. Our families like each other. We love one another, and I thought that that was good enough. But after this, I don't know anymore. I know I'm beating around the bush, but the thing is that it's so embarrassing that I don't even know how to start. But I'll just come out and say it. He decided to pull a very nasty and disgusting prank on me, along with his twin brother. And I think you guys know where this is going now. But I still explain the situation for those who need a few more details. Basically, a couple of days ago, we had our bachelor and bachelorette parties. It was nothing too crazy. We had already decided we were going to keep it PG-13, and it was basically just one evening of us getting drunk with our close friends and having a lot of fun. And at the end of the night, we were going to come back home, so we did. I was pretty hammered, I'm going to admit. So when I got home and I saw him already there, I didn't see or feel anything to put me on guard. I was pretty tired and I could see that he was too, so I just kissed him good night and I went to sleep. Next morning, I didn't wake up until noon, and when I did wake up, he was not in the room, although I do remember him coming into the room and crashing beside me because that woke me up for a couple of minutes. That was a bit confusing, but I didn't think much of it until I came out into the living room and I saw Jack and his brother sitting on the couch. And as soon as I came out, they started laughing and shaking their heads. I had no idea what was going on at that point in time. And when I asked them, they literally had to hold back their laughter while they were explaining that the previous night it was actually Jack's brother that had come back home and not Jack himself. Apparently, they had come up with this plan at the bachelor party itself, and everybody thought it was hilarious. So they decided to go through with it. And instead of coming back home, it was his brother who came back, and Jack spent the rest of the night with his friends. They are identical twins, and of course, they do have a few differences, and I can't tell them apart. But I was so drunk that it didn't even occur to me, because who would ever think that this is a prank anybody would find funny? And after they told me everything, I was simply disgusted. I was embarrassed and I started freaking out at both of them because I thought it was totally inappropriate. Nothing had happened. But it was a scary thought that something could have happened, and since both of us were pretty drunk, who was to say that things wouldn't have gotten out of hand? Jack's brothers started reassuring me that he never would have done that to him or me, that it was just meant to be light-hearted hazing, and it's apparently a tradition in their family to pull pranks on anybody marrying into the family. So this was their idea of a fun thing to do to me before we got married. But I was furious at that point. I told them both that I didn't care about their traditions. This prank that they had pulled was really disgusting and I didn't appreciate it at all. I expected them to feel sorry about it and apologize, but instead, Jack started getting super defensive and told me that I was overreacting, especially considering the fact that nothing had even happened and I was freaking out for no reason. I didn't agree with that, and I thought the fact that he was taking all of this so casually was really ridiculous. Besides, something could have easily happened, you know what I mean, since we were both pretty drunk. I just don't know what kind of person would find something like this funny, especially when it concerns their own partner. And we got into a pretty big fight. Jack's brother left before things got too bad and even said that he was sorry, that he didn't realize it would rub me the wrong way and come off as inappropriate. But Jack kept insisting they hadn't done anything wrong, and that just ticked me off even more. The fact that he was not even ready to acknowledge that he had done something really stupid and disgusting was what annoyed me even more. And after a while, I was so angry that I decided to start packing my bags, and even then, he didn't stop me. In fact, he encouraged me. He told me I really need to think things through because I was acting ridiculous, and he was not going to stop me from leaving if that's what I wanted, because he thinks that I need to clear my head. I think things over with a calm mind, and if leaving and staying away from him for a while will make me realize what I'm doing wrong, then he's fine with it. He didn't even take into consideration the fact that we were literally supposed to be getting married by the end of the week. And it was really hurtful. But anyway, I packed my bags, and for the past few days I've been staying with a friend. He has not made any attempts to get in touch with me, and in fact, the rest of the family has told me that I'm overreacting. His parents have reached out to me several times, texted me, to tell me that I really need to calm down and that this is not such a big deal because nothing happened. And because nothing happened, I shouldn't be taking it so seriously. And I don't think that that's the right thing to say. I've spoken to my friends about it. I've spoken to my parents about it as well. And everybody thinks I'm doing the right thing by leaving because this felt like they were crossing a line, and I feel the same way. But because of how my fiancé has reacted and how his family is treating the whole thing, I don't understand if we are the ones overreacting or not. They seem to be taking this whole thing very casually, and I don't get it. I mean, on one hand, they are right that nothing really happened, but that doesn't tell the whole story, does it? Something easily could have happened, and even though they keep saying that Jack's twin never would have done such a thing to his brother, it doesn't matter because we were both drunk. And even apart from that, I just don't think it was a nice thing to do. I don't know, am I overreacting? AITA for wanting to cancel my wedding because my fiancé decided to pull a prank on me, which I did not think was appropriate. Update 1. Hey, thank you everybody for all the supportive comments. It really means a lot to me. So yesterday I was supposed to get married, but I did go through with it. I stuck with my decision and things are pretty bad right now, but honestly, I'm glad I did not bow down and be a pushover. I did whatever I believed in, and I'm going to stick by that, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. Actually, and anyway, I'm pretty glad that I decided not to go through with the wedding because the way Jack is behaving right now, I don't even know if it's the same person that I have been with for so long. Yesterday in the morning, before we were supposed to head to the venue and everything, he finally called me up to ask me if I actually planned on backing out of the wedding at the last minute or not, because until then we had not been speaking. And I told him that I indeed did not want to go through with the wedding anymore, and I was calling it off, and he immediately started freaking out at me on the phone call. He started telling me that I couldn't do this to him, that we could just meet up once and go through with the wedding and everything, and then everything would be fine. I just need to give it a chance, and I'm overthinking all of this for no reason. But I told him that since he had not bothered to get in touch with me for the past couple of days, since he had let this go on until the very last minute, then I don't really think that I am the one to blame for wanting to cancel the wedding. And I think it's true, and it's all fair, because he really did not speak to me. And when he realized that I was serious about not wanting to go through with the wedding, it was only then that he decided to call me up and start talking to me. And even then, he had taken it for granted that he would be able to convince me otherwise at the very last minute. I mean, there was no sort of apology, no regret, nothing. I really felt bad about it because it made me think that maybe he doesn't care, or never really cared in the past either. Because I know for a fact that if you really care and love someone, You don't treat them like this, and you definitely don't take them for granted. You try to make it up to them if you have offended them. Anyhow, and in this case, I know that I'm not wrong. Anyway, he tried to convince me to meet him that morning, but I told him it was too late. He started yelling at me after, so I decided to hang up on him because I was not going to deal with that. If it was difficult for him, it was more than difficult for me, if not equally hard. And if he couldn't see that, then I don't even know what to say. But anyway, it was pretty clear that he couldn't actually see that, because if he did, he wouldn't have treated me the way he did. After I hung up, he started texting me, telling me that I was making a huge mistake and I was going to regret this for the rest of my life, and that even right now I have a chance. I can just come to the venue, talk it out with him, and then we can get married and sort everything out later on. But I didn't want to do that, because what kind of future was I getting myself into if I agreed to an arrangement like that? He was not sorry for anything. I could already tell from the tone of his voice, and even if I did agree to go and meet him, I knew that he was just going to try and convince me that I was wrong. And I know I wasn't. So I was not going to waste my time. I told him that if he wanted to apologize, he had the opportunity to do it, and I would be ready to give him a chance. But if not, then we have nothing to discuss. So it's like I didn't give him a fair chance to make it right, but he stuck to his stubborn behavior, and that's how we ended up here. So, long story short, we didn't end up getting married, and everybody is pretty disappointed, and everybody wants answers, but I don't have anything to offer them right now. Obviously, my parents were quite upset, but they understood where this decision was coming from, and they didn't bother me or anything about it. They told all my relatives, and as for the people who were coming from out of town, there were just a handful of people anyway, and they had already been told to put their plans on hold for the time being. And since they have not been told otherwise, nobody ended up wasting that time and money and energy into showing up for my wedding. So I guess even before this day, in a way, things have been decided as soon as Jack chose not to get in touch with me in the past couple of days. Right now, I'm still staying with my friend, and I'm just numb because I don't know what to say or how to react to any of this. Obviously, eventually we are going to have to talk to each other because our families and the two of us need to deal with all financial matters and everything. But apart from that, I don't think that we have anything left to talk about, and that's what hurts the most. I can't believe that in just a few days everything has fallen apart, and I would give up anything to go back in time and fix everything. But I can't do that. And I don't know how he feels about any of this. All I know is that I'm shattered. I'm going to try and put my pieces back together, but it's not going to be easy. So for now, I think I'll take a break from posting here just to get my life together for a while. But that being said, I'm really thankful for all the support that I've received here in the comments. Thank you to everybody who reached out, and I genuinely have to say that it means the world to me. So really, thank you so much. Update 2. Hi guys. So it's been 3 weeks since my last post here, and a lot has changed since then. Like I said, I knew that we were going to have to talk to each other eventually, because we were going to have to deal with the finances. And I didn't know that it was going to be so difficult, but then again, a lot of things have happened that I didn't expect. So anyway, when it came to paying off the vendors and everything, I expected that we were going to split it, but then he and his family told us that it was my fault that the wedding had been cancelled. They expected me and my family to pay for everything that was still due. And they even expected me to reimburse them for everything that they had contributed financially. I tried to speak to Jack about it because I thought that was pretty unreasonable, but he was not having it. He had blocked me, and when I tried to show up at our house, he told me he had nothing to say to any of this, that he didn't even want to see me anymore, and whatever his family said, he was in agreement with it. So he didn't want to waste his time arguing with me. That was that. And honestly, I didn't even want to get into it because it would unnecessarily complicate and drag everything out. So I decided to do as they said, and I paid off all the dues. I didn't take even a nickel from my parents because it was not their fault. They were not involved in any of this. And they had already lost some money because of me and the problems that I have been going through with Jack. I didn't want to burden them with more of my issues, even though they insisted on helping me out several times. As for my reimbursing Jack and his parents, that was out of the question because even though they believed that I was the one at fault for this, I did not think along the same lines. And I made it very clear to them that reimbursing was not something that I was going to do. Paying everything else that was due was the most that I could do for them. They were not happy about it. They tried to argue with me, but I stayed firm, stood my ground, and eventually they left me alone. Obviously, all of this did end up burning a bit of a hole into my pocket. But I don't regret it because at the end of the day, I was able to hold on to my dignity, and that's what matters to me. I did not want to haggle with them. I did not want to fight with them unnecessarily. And I did what I thought was the right thing to do. So I don't have any regrets. It's been a week since I've dealt with all of this, and for the first time, I feel like there is some sort of peace and quiet in my life in a while. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I honestly don't have any plans as of now. So I'm just going to try and go back to my old life before I had met him. It's going to be difficult, I know that, but I don't have a choice. As for where I'm staying right now, I'm still staying with my friend, but we are looking for apartments for me. She has been extremely helpful. She has been my greatest source of strength and support after my parents. And I think if my parents were here, even then, she would have been there for me and she would have found a way. She's even been putting up how depressed I am. She's been trying to cheer me up every time she can, giving me space when she sees that I need her more than anything else. And I honestly don't know how I will thank her. My parents had driven down here a couple of days back while we were dealing with all the financial drama with Jack and his parents. And they had stayed here, and my friend was the one who welcomed them into her house, even though I had insisted that my parents stay in a hotel. But she said I needed them around right now, and she even gave up her own room for me and the guest room for my parents and slept on the couch herself. I mean, where do you even find friends like this? I really think that I'm blessed. Because in spite of everything that has happened, she has been there for me. My family has been there for me, and everybody who loves me has been there for me. Even if I want to complain about how unlucky I am, I really can't bring myself to do it because of how supportive everybody has been, of how loving and affectionate that everybody has been. I just can't say that I'm completely unlucky because yes, what happened was sad. But I have so many people around me. I don't feel like I have faced some huge loss that I can't overcome. I don't even think it's a loss anymore because after how he has behaved with me, how he has treated me in the past couple of weeks, I think I dodged some serious trouble here. I don't think that we ever would have been happy together in the future, and I think it's a good thing that we chose not to get married because clearly there is a huge difference in his morals and mine, because I don't think that what happened was acceptable. And I would never have done something like that to him if I was in his position. I would have respected his opinions and feelings, and even if I had made a mistake like that, I would have apologized for it and at least tried to make it right. But he didn't do any of that, so clearly we're not compatible. And maybe our relationship has run its course, so it was the best result that I could have hoped for. Obviously, I'm saying all of this now, but in reality it's much harder for me to accept it and come to terms with what has happened. But I'm still trying, and I'm taking one day at a time. And I know that one morning this will stop mattering to me. But for now, I just have to make my peace with regarding what happened. And that's fine. I know it's fine. Update 3. So it's been 2 weeks since my last update, and I have finally started the process of moving into my new house. And because I needed some furniture, apart from whatever already came with the apartment, I decided to ask Jack if I could come over and take everything that I had purchased for a few days. He didn't reply, but I didn't back down because I was going to take everything that belonged to me. I had already spent a lot of money on the wedding and it was a total waste, and I was not splurging on this as well. So I was going to stand my ground. So I kept emailing him since I had been blocked from calling him or texting him. And when he did not respond, I decided to ask my friend to text him and tell me to reply to me because I didn't see any other way out of this. So she did, thankfully. And I guess it was the embarrassment of the whole situation that got to him. And eventually he did reply to me, telling me that I could come over in the evening one day after work and take everything I needed, but I had to finish everything in one day and he was not going to open up his house to me more than once. It really annoyed me, but since we were not living together, he had a point and I decided to just get it over with as soon as possible. So my friends and we decided to go to his place, and he happened to be there, and he didn't lift a finger to help any of us, which obviously I wasn't expecting anyway. But while he didn't help, he did make sure that he made it as difficult for all of us as possible, constantly grumbling under his breath, being just loud enough to let us know that he was not happy with any of this, and constantly shooting dirty looks at me. At one point, he even picked up the phone and started talking to one of his friends loudly, telling them about how it was so inconvenient for him and how I was giving him so much trouble even after we had broken up, and he was obviously doing it on purpose so that I would hear it and feel bad. But I didn't feel bad. I just felt sorry for him because he was clearly so immature that he didn't even realize that this kind of thing was only going to make him look like a fool in front of everyone. It wasn't going to make me feel anything. Anyway, after we were done, we got out of there as quickly as we could, and honestly, his behavior was so ridiculous and embarrassing for me that I found myself thanking my stars that I didn't actually end up getting married to him. And in fact, even my friends were embarrassed on my behalf, and they told me that what had happened, I definitely did not need to feel any sort of regret for not having made it to work with him, because clearly he did not deserve me. Honestly, I have to say the same, because I had never seen this side of him before. I mean, of course, while we were dating, I knew that he was a bit petty, and I knew that he could get very passive-aggressive when he wanted to, but it never went to this level, and now, since I have seen this, I don't think I can go back to thinking of him how I used to. And it's a good thing. It's a very good thing, because now I think it'll help me in the whole process of moving on from him and healing. And the less that I think of him and remember our life together positively, the less upset I will feel about letting him go. I'm ready to start afresh. I'm ready to leave all of this in the past. Whatever happened. I do regret it because in the end I think that will stay with me. However, the way the situation is right now, I don't think I can change the fact that for several years of my life, he was very important to me. And even right now, though, I don't like myself for saying it, I do have a soft spot for him, but I think with time it'll go away. I think if he had been a better human being a more reasonable person with less of an ego to get in the way of our relationship, we might have been able to make it work even after what had happened with his brother and everything. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and so, in spite of everything we felt for each other at one point in time, this is how we ended up, and that's something I will always regret whether I like it or not. The only thing I'm not going to let it do, though, is stop me from living my life to the fullest. I'm not going to let this define me. I'm not going to let this restrict me from doing everything I want to. And yes, that includes getting married and having a family. In the future, I do plan on having that kind of life, but right now, of course, love is off the table. I guess I'm just gonna be on my own for a while. And I'm going to let everything happen organically. And even if it doesn't happen, I'm fine with that as well. The only thing that matters is that I should be happy. My friends and family, my loved ones should be content. And that's all that I care for at the moment. Update 4. Hey everyone, so it's been 6 months since my wedding did not take place. It's been a pretty eventful 6 months because I've done everything that I wanted to do. Things that have been on my bucket list just to distract myself. I took a bunch of vacations, went to a lot of places that I wanted to go to, had a lot of fun with my friends and met a lot of new people. I also made it a point to visit my parents more often, so that was also quite fun. And of course, to be able to fund all of this, I had to work twice as hard, and that paid off because I ended up getting promoted a couple of weeks back. So now I guess I have even more money to spend on myself. And I'm really happy about it. I'm also focusing on saving some money and setting aside something every month. So in the future, I can build my own business, and I'm really looking forward to everything and hoping for a better future. As for Jack, last I heard, he was already on a bunch of dating apps and going out with people last month. So good for him, I guess. As for his brother, he had the decency to reach out to me a couple of months ago and told me that now, since sufficient time had passed since my breakup with his brother, he wanted to do the right thing, something that he had been trying to make up his mind about for a very long time, but now he would just do it and apologize to me. That's what he said, and I didn't tell him that I accepted his apology, that I forgive him or anything, because I really don't think that's true. But a couple of weeks after that, I did reply to him saying that I appreciate the fact that at least he apologized. That was that. No further messages, so yeah, I think I'm moving on, and I'm doing a good job of it, and I'm happy. So that's all that matters. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.